Yes.
Okay. So there has been an interest in trying to get out of here a little early today. And so given that we do have a little bit of time before our scheduled lunch, so we thought we would take up the last agenda item, which is meeting feedback. So as Governor Stevens raised earlier, he thought that he's been recommending for a while that we take some time at the end of every meeting to grade ourselves. What did we do well? What could we do better? We will also be sending out a post-meeting survey. So if you prefer that method, you can use that method, but this is just an opportunity for an open discussion about how the meeting went.
Governor Williams-Ruth is not here, but obviously we've talked a lot about materials. And I have to agree that we need to get the materials out in a more timely manner. And I think that we should have some kind of a rule that 7 days prior has got to be the limit, because there's just not enough time, especially when it's lengthy materials coming in. The other thing that I would ask, and I don't know exactly if this is a problem for anyone else, I get 6 different emails with 3 different agendas and late materials and regular materials and late materials. And when it comes time to come to the meeting, trying to find those on my computer without them being linked together somehow is problematic and time consuming. And so what I would hope, and I don't think it would be that difficult, is maybe if we get everything in a week before, it would be possible to put links on the agenda to the materials, so that we don't have to hunt through. I mean, I downloaded all the materials and I've got 6 different things on my screen here, and we're going from agenda item to agenda item and trying to find out which agenda item we're dealing with, looking back at 3 different materials is very difficult. And so I would propose that if it's possible, we have a final, maybe a final materials that they don't have to be changed in order from what they're originally prepared in, but if they could at least be in one document, so we could link through them without having to try and jump back and forth. And I don't know if that's possible.
Oh, it is possible.
Yeah.
I know it's possible. I don't know if it's possible for our current setup, but I would like that to at least be something that hopefully can get done. And that's mostly for older people. I'm talking about people older 55 who have a hard time keeping the stuff together. Okay. For me. So
those are great suggestions. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now that he's back, Mr. Williams-Ruth, I've just asked that we have materials no more than 7 days, and then have everything put together for us by that point. So just so you know, that was my comment regarding the meeting. Other than that, I think I don't have any other comments.
Thank you so much, Eric. I just okay. So next to the online hand raise. Yeah. Okay, by Nancy, please.
Thanks, Dan. One other suggestion: as the agendas change, if you could indicate this is the amended agenda as of X date. Because otherwise I end up printing, 6 different agendas and I don't know which one is the latest. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, Henderson next.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that, from my observation post kind of up here, it seems like this has been a very good, positive meeting. I think there was some substantive work that was accomplished yesterday and discussion about the proposed DEI definition. We obviously got some good news and feedback, I think, to our presenters today on the bar licensure task force. I appreciate the staff doing everything they can to make it happen here and the various other events that took place offsite. So from my observation, I thought this was a good meeting, a very good second meeting. So thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I guess one of the things I want to say to all of you as a soon to be departed governor I would hope as we move forward toward the end of my term, after we had the conversation about the goals, I went over to Governor Adewale, because what I observed, and it was my opinion, was that through process, he was painting himself in a corner about something that he thought was very important, the member wellness. And I went over to him to basically say, and it is my view, it is never too late to do the right thing. And you don't have to wait till 6 months later to do the right thing. So, one of the things I told him was at the retreat, at the budget retreat, I will put up and want to really talk about member wellness. And in the budget and audit committee, I was saying nothing stops us from making that a budget priority and bringing that forward. What I guess I would ask folks, and even when I'm missing Brett Pertzer right now, but even in my either zeal or passion, since I'm just a year from 70 years old, I've come to discover that there's always another day. There's always another day to do the right thing. And to, always reach out to see how we can solve the problem and not let the problem become something that just is a pall over us. So, and then I again want to keep stressing how much I appreciate. And actually, when I think about it, Brian, what you began to do, and you were talking about common cause, and I remember saying this to actually former presidents Bill Pickett and Brad Furlong. During your term, you may not get all the things done that you set out to do, but many of those things may carry through and actually get done because you started them. And I appreciate you, Dan, because we both came in at what I think was early beginnings of some bad times. And we worked through those to the point, I think, that we can get things right. I appreciate Nancy Hawkins keeping us on the straight and narrow. And I appreciate all of you. And I hope it gets better for those of us it's not, but I guess because of my being among the more aged members, I find it an honor and a privilege to be a member of this Board of Governors. And I find it a blessing to have come to know a number of you all. And I try to keep that in the back of my head. And I will invite you all, whenever you think I have really crossed the line, to pull on my coattail. Say, hey, lighten up a bit, but I appreciated Brett saying, some points he felt like he wanted to punch me out. And then he came and got to know me and thought I was a pretty good person. And so but I just want to really say that to all of you, because the work you do is so important. The work we do is so important. And like I say, hopefully we will really work out this relationship thing. But again, even in those bad times, those real tough times, I was always fascinated that when it came to the substantive stuff, we were almost always in unanimity. And so at times I was saying, so what is this fight about? I don't know if we will ever deconstruct. I would like to deconstruct the reasons or the cause for why your predecessor became your predecessor. But I only want to do that to make sure we don't make those same mistakes again, meaning if we do an evaluation, and oh, by the way, my last count, we have 9 in. There may be more, but keep those coming. But when we do the evaluation, my biggest thing is not only to give you the feedback, but that it has relevancy in terms of your continuing on and being the best executive director you can be for WSBA.
Thank you, Alec. Okay, next, Francis, next.
Thank you, Mr. President. The joy of serving on this board is the fact that sometimes in the making of the sausage, it can be messy. And I just wanted us to, sometimes we complain, it takes so long. Well, representative democracy takes long. It can be messy. It might take 1.5 hours to decide on an issue. But what would you rather have? That the majority forced their vote on the others while the minority does not speak. But I've always come to this board with this understanding. Majority will always have their way, but the minority should be given an opportunity to have their say. That is what we did this morning. And when that happens, you are leaving the meeting with an understanding that you may be the one writing a contrary opinion today, but you have informed the majority well enough that something in their mind, in their conscience, will trigger an opportunity to be able to revisit the issues you raised in that meeting, in a subsequent meeting. You may not always have your way. And that is what I want to encourage Board of Governors to look at. You will not always have your way, but remember that if you don't voice your contrary opinion, we are all being denied an opportunity that are critical to the decision-making process. We will not always agree, but that opportunity to be had, to be given, minority must always be given an opportunity to be, no matter how long it takes. And that's why I respect Curry. I'm sitting next to Kerry, and we have a question to call the vote. And she said, is there somebody else that needed to speak? He said, I'm going to vote nay. That is one of the most fundamental process in this work that I want to encourage you all to come into this meeting with that open mind. Even though you are so sure of how you feel about issue, when you deny an opportunity for everyone to be heard that are opposed to your idea, you are denying yourself an opportunity to be informed, to have a complete knowledge of an issue. And then there might be occasions where you need to call the vote. And I do agree to that. But please, once the decision is made, it is our decision. It's no longer your decision. It is our decision. It's my job now to make sure that I follow that decision up and carry it out. I cannot come back and say, I told them this is what is going to happen. No, it's just not serving the body well. So I just want to encourage you. I'm not speaking about any particular person. And, we did a lot of work this weekend, and it's very, very important. This board, like Rajiv told me on my phone call with him, this board is a lot different from the board of 4 or 5 years ago. And those of you that have been here for 6 years, you need to look at us as people that have a different mind. We don't carry the baggage of the history, the historical crisis that's got everybody. You may have participated in recruiting some of us, but we have a independent opinion. And we want to take our bar to a greater place than we met it. And that's why I'm just loving Mary telling, the Supreme Court justice, this is how I got here. And I might be the second one after Abraham Lincoln to, to have this privilege, but I'm happy to be here. Yeah. So this is what it means to be part of representative democracy. It can be messy. It can be, sometimes we hurt each other's feelings, but as long as we get to that place where we realize, look, majority will always have the vote, they carry the day, but the minority have their say. When we come to that with that mind, that we have exhausted all opportunity for everybody to be heard, and we arrive at the decision, we can go home happy, because nobody loses in that situation, because everybody wins. So I just want to thank you all for very spirited debates and opportunity to have very truthful and frank discussion. And let's build on what we got yesterday. Thank you, President Brian Tollefson, for bringing our trainer, and and everyone that participated. Everybody participated. Nobody is standing back and saying, I don't want to be part of that. And initially, I wanted it to be a bigger training, that it would involve the executive leadership team. But you are right, that it's better for the Board of Governors to have the discussion themselves. So much for yesterday that is important. But we did a lot this weekend that you can take back and come back refreshed and willing to embrace each other as brethren. If I can use that language, want to get me on that. So let's continue to work. And before I forgot, Director Kevin Plachi, thank you. Thank you for being you. And you've impacted many lives by the way you always come to the issues with a willingness to be vulnerable. And I'm grateful to you for that. And I hope that we all could take that vulnerability to the next level, where we see each other as brothers, as sisters, as colleagues, as comrades. Sorry, some people don't like comrades, but that is why we are here, to lift up the bar. So thank you all. I've already said so much. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Francis. Hey, seeing no more hands up. It's lunchtime. Some of you had talked about possibly shortening lunch. What's your thoughts on that?
Are we going to finish early if we shorten lunch? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's not.
Yeah.
I know Mary and I have to leave. I have a hard stop at noon. But you guys can continue. I'm gonna be on remote, so.
So there's two that are kind of leave at noon.
How many issues do we have left?
Kari will be joining by phone, so you'll still be.
Well, I'll be on Zoom on my phone.
Yeah,
but-
so we'll still have her for 4.
Are you going to be able to join?
I
Okay.
can get on Zoom, but I'm.
Sneak this up.
Oh,
Okay, well then,
But we don't know how long she's gonna be on.
sure.
So she's traveling today.
We have only one more issue.
Yeah, I've gotta go.
I thought we'd take 30 minutes.
Sure.
for lunch And knock that out, be out of here by 1.
So just really quickly, because we did discuss this at the break, so just so everyone has full information, we are permitted by our rules to change our agenda. We don't necessarily need a motion, so we can do that. And it does say on our agenda that, timing is, it's
fluid.
not firm, it's fluid. And we also discussed that it's possible that there is someone who knows that this conversation is coming up at 1 p.m. and is planning to be here at 1 p.m. So if we take it up earlier, we might deny them that opportunity. I don't say that as a reason not to do it. I'd love to get out of here earlier too, but just wanted everyone to know what we discussed.
Enjoy your flight.
Okay, so with that, there's been one made, seconded. Let's vote then.
No, I don't think we will.
Oh. Okay, all right then. Yeah, okay then. I know we're gonna start now. I think is the, yeah, is the motion, right?
Is
Alec?
the last item is that the long range strategic? I don't think there's any action with that. So there is an action?
On the second.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start then with the last item then.